Hello, friends. Happy Friday. How is everyone doing this evening? I'm sure Happy Friday's here. I am enjoying some Haunted Bookshop in the Matches Memorial Friday Sabanelli, as is the tradition here. And let's see who we've got joining us so far this evening. There's my buddy Big Dave, Kevin Doolin, Mushroom Leg. How you doing, buddy? I got something special for you later. Smoking Sade, Terry Davy, Hillbilly Piper. How you doing, Donnie? Piper on the 45, Hubba Bubba Poem. Ronnie Ewing, good to see you, Ronnie. White Ash Piper Squared, Tim Fournier, Jeffrey Feinberg, hello Jeffrey, Todd Munson, Signalman Tony from Rhode Island, Bona Piper, and Gary Edminster. Fantastic, the gang is all here, and it's good to see you guys. So it's been a fun week. If you didn't catch, I put a couple of title cards there at the beginning. I'm not going to be here next week. I'll explain why later, but I'll be back the following week. So you'll be okay. I hope I'll be okay, but you'll be okay. It's been a week, and next week's going to be an even bigger week. So that's something. But it's good. The Lugosi's still in the background there. I don't know what to do with him yet. I haven't decided. But the pumpkin has gone away. Spooky season is over. I got my old friend back out, so the Halloween lighter's gone. Although it's not really a Halloween lighter, but I use it during Halloween. Bela's back in his coffin, so we move on now to the holidays. And as far as I'm concerned, Halloween is the official start of the Halloween is the official start of the holiday season. There we go. Let's see. George Tiedemann, Texas Piper. Good to see you, my friend. Go Rangers, indeed. Yeah, that was something. Stanley Smith, Michael Case, having some pirate cake and a cherry church warden. Sounds good. Gary Edminster's got Peterson Kinseal with Captain Kidd. There's Pipe Rider. Good evening to you, sir. I need my glasses for that. White Ash Squared. Oh, I think he was talking to Michael Case. Okay. The Smooth Piper. How you doing, Peter? Indeed, Tim. A moment of silence for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, the forgotten holiday. I've been complaining about that forever. And I flat out told my wife, who still isn't home, and I think she stayed away on purpose, if I see one Christmas movie before Halloween, she's out. They destroyed Thanksgiving, and now they're going to destroy Halloween. And before you know it, we're going to be starting the Christmas season on December 26th, and I've had it. Timber Drifter, yes, the flamethrower is back indeed. I've tried everything to change this. That's what it does, and I can't help it. But I love the lighter. It's been with me a long time. Sailor, hello there. He's got Shandy Gaff in a Briarworks bent pot with some JW Black Label neat on the side. Fantastic. And I have a beer this evening, which is sadly, the last of my Yingling Oktoberfest. But that's okay, because there's more Yingling where that came from. So that's good, and I can start to think about my holiday beer selection, which is always exciting. And by the way, I'm a bachelor, and I let the dogs out, and they didn't want to come in tonight, so I made it here by the skin of my teeth. And while they were out there, I needed something to do, so I drank a whiskey. So I might be a little bit sillier than usual, if you can believe that. Mushroom Leg says he's having some velvet in a cob, whatever the diamond one is called. I don't know. And Smooth Piper's got Haunted Bookshop in his Friday Sabanelli. There's Volunteer Piper. Hello there, my friend. Armchair Piper, good to see you there, Ed. Yeah, I know, Eddie. Those they just make them earlier every year. Hillbilly Piper says in the Philippines they start Christmas in September. Well, I'm not in the Philippines, Donnie. That's all I can say. Yeah, sorry, Michael. I'm never gonna, until my wife completely turns it off, I'm not gonna ever get off the Hallmark thing. Oh, very funny, Tim. You know I wasn't talking about Bowie when I said that. He, when I first got things going, Tim had commented on my title card, which had, oh my God, it's full of grapes, which I think is a reference to one of the Space Odyssey movies, but I don't quite remember. I don't know where I got that from. And I told him that, and now he's saying Space Oddity, and yeah, I get you. Doug Owen, Ron Hardcrackers, good to see you guys tonight. Paul Johnson, Rainier Golden Flake in a mirror, nice. And Welsh Piper, good early morning to you, sir, good to see you. Backcountry Pipes, good evening, Mark, good to see you. Yeah, so my wife was going to come home. She was going to be here for Halloween because she was really excited about giving out candy. Good thing she didn't, because I didn't see any. I mean, I didn't have lights on or anything, so I didn't expect them to come to the door, but I didn't see any trick-or-treaters at all when I went to a chiropractor appointment like around 6 o'clock, so you would think you would see them around then, and I didn't see any, so I don't think there were that many in the neighborhood. But for reasons, she couldn't come home. And so she stayed in Pittsburgh and gave out Halloween candy, which is what she wanted to do. And they have a big thing there. It's still very popular to go door to door in her neighborhood, her parents' neighborhood. But it was cold, and she sat on the step to give out candy, and she's sick now. I talked to her yesterday, and she sounded like she had just finished her third pack of Camel Unfilters. Today she sounds a little bit better. She says she's going to come back over the weekend, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I'm still playing Bachelor and trying to do all the things that she does at the same time. I'm trying to do all the things that I do, and it was a weird work week with just a lot of goofy things going wrong that shouldn't have gone wrong. I mean, not anything terrible, just things that, like setbacks, and this will definitely work today. Oh, it's not going to work today. Okay, that kind of stuff. So. Ron is stuffed from eating fried catfish. There's no better way to be stuffed, Ron. I see Mushroom Legs agree. Yep, it is underrated. I like catfish. I had some cod tonight. You follow me on Instagram, you saw my dinner. I put it up. I did it to tease my wife because I wanted to let her know I was surviving. Texas Piper's got some Irish flake and a Jake Hacker billiard. With a Raw and Sons Oktoberfest. Sounds good. Sailor thinks the entire month's been weird. Yeah, it's been that way here too, Sailor. Today I was fighting. I won't bore you too much with this, but I've been fighting this darn computer thing. I'm writing a program to do data analysis, and I've been doing this most of the year. And to be honest with you, I thought there was maybe a 20% chance that it was going to work because I'm trying to do something that hasn't been done before. It now works. It's within the past 2 weeks, it's working. So now I have to run it, because that's what you do when you write a computer program. And the problem is the data that it's going to process is just an enormous file. And it can't do it on a laptop or desktop computer. There's just not enough memory to load this file up into memory so that it can be operated on. So it has to be done on what's essentially a supercomputer cluster. And cluster is an appropriate word here because while I work for a multi-billion-dollar global corporation, their IT help is... So today was a whole series of, it's not working, can you help me? Oh, all you have to do is this. And then I say, oh, and I go off and do that and it wouldn't work. And then I think, that's not going to work. Let me try something different. And this will definitely work, and it doesn't work. So I go back to IT and say, this doesn't work either. And they go, oh, all you have to do is this. I did that I started at 7 o'clock this morning, and at 4:30 I just said, well, I'm done. Never got it to work. Another week coming, so I'll eventually make it. Doug, I'm going to get in the car, and I'm going to drive out to the left coast and make a right-hand turn and come up there and give you a piece of my mind if you try to sell me the Hallmark Christmas movie package. Oh, I got to put my glasses on for this one. Welsh Piper was sick of seeing 3 adult women with kids on Instagram emptying a pail or bucket of sweets for trick-or-treat into their rucksacks. Yeah, that would be disturbing. Oh, Tim, take your Mac and, IT is all about bubblegum and duct tape. It seems that way. Yeah, sailor, maybe I could go to the NSA. I mean, I've considered the Amazon cloud. I mean, it just shouldn't be this difficult. And part of it is probably my own incompetence because I usually write dinky little scripts that just take an Excel spreadsheet and reformat it into a more convenient format. This is a pretty big undertaking, but it should work. Couch, do not agree with Tim. Okay, Michael, thank you. You better watch it, Doug. I got a contact out your way. They are about one and the same, sailor. And what's scary is how ubiquitous the Amazon cloud is becoming. I think there's very few big businesses in the country that don't use it. I'm sure a lot of the banking industry is using it. The government's probably using it. It's one of those putting your all eggs in one basket kind of thing. Tim and Couch rule. Hey, Phil, how you doing, buddy? Sir and Pipe Repairman. Phil's trying to get me to do a career change. Somebody in Texas gave condiment packets out, Doug? That's funny. I was talking to a friend at work about, some of the stuff we would get as kids. And on Sunday, I mentioned the popcorn balls. No, Codger Jim, AI is not the answer. And we were talking about, what is going on here? My wife is calling me. Should I? No, she'd be embarrassed by her voice. But she knows I'm doing this. You know, Couch, I got a feeling that 10 millimeter socket is around here somewhere. Just, I gotta wait for it to fall down and hit me in the head before I find it. Hey, Texas Piper, fantastic. I'm glad you enjoyed those movies. I actually watched for the first time since I was a little kid. Well, little kid, probably high school age, maybe late grade school. Uh, I watched Halloween, the original Halloween, on Halloween. And you know what? That was kind of a boring movie, I have to say. Ah, Kevin Doolan's Fiend Without a Face. That's a great movie, yeah. I've completely lost track of where this was going. It's my wife's fault. She distracted me. Oh, Gary Edminster, that's funny. Found the 10 millimeter in the thermostat. Yornik watched the new Predator movie and it was a movie. Well, that's ringing praise, isn't it? Ah, popcorn balls. Thank you, Sailor. That's where I was going. Yeah, you had to eat the saran wrap with it. That's right. Yes, Doug, the brain ratio was quite high in that movie compared to the Senate, indeed. Andrew Sirigliano, happy Friday to you, sir. Yeah, I was talking about the things we used to get as kids, and people would put just like hard candies that came in a big uh, container, and they'd wrap them in saran wrap and put them in your bag, or you get like loose change. And what was funny is there was this one guy in the neighborhood who gave out change every year wrapped in saran wrap, and we'd all compare, and nobody got the same amount of change. Like somebody would get 24 cents and somebody else would get 32 cents, which is, he must have just like picked up what seemed right. So yeah, times have changed. Mr. Sardonicus is an odd movie, Phil. I'm glad you said that it scared you when you was young, because I didn't see it when I was young. And I watched that movie and I just can't imagine how it could be scary. It makes me laugh. But yeah, I guess it could be when you're younger like that. Attack of the Crab Monster is the one, says Gary. Yeah. The bad taffy that would always get thrown out. Yeah. Don't know if I ever got a Tic Tacs home. That would be interesting. Costco has changed Halloween forever, says Michael. Yeah. Peter got pennies. Yep. And Tim's recommending Whiplash. I had Hellraiser all queued up. I was going to do it. And it's funny how these things happen. I think to myself, oh, I'm going to, it's Halloween night. I go to the chiropractor. I've got dinner's all set. I know what I'm going to eat. I was having leftovers. I'm going to eat dinner. I'm going to turn on a movie and I'm going to enjoy it. And, so the wife calls and I got to talk to her for a little while. And then my friend who I talk to maybe once a month called. So that wound up taking up an hour. And then I'm finally going to watch the movie. And my wife calls back, and I guess I'm just too nice of a guy to say, leave me alone, I'm watching a movie. So I had planned to watch a couple of movies on Halloween night, and I only had time for the Halloween movie before I was too tired. about a jazz drummer and his teacher pushing home. Oh, pushing him. Oh, his teacher pushing him. Okay. And that's Whiplash, Tim? Yeah, Michael, they would not taste good at all. Acupuncture them, watch Pinhead. There you go, Phil. Ron has got some old Joe Krantz in an LCS Route 66 pot and a bottle of Heineken near beer because he's on strong antibiotics and oh goodness, he's put in the hospital last Monday. Sorry about that. Seps. Oh, that's not good, Ron. I hope you get better soon. And it's good that you're laying off the alcohol because you know what happened to me last time. The combination of antibiotics and pumpkin lager was a bad idea. It's an interesting observation, Doug. Clowns are just terrifying, you know. Candy being spiked with LSD. That would explain some of my classmates' antics. Oh, okay, Paul. So tic-tacking, it wasn't tic-tac candies. It's when you gather and husk and gather corn kernels, put them in a paper bag and run around the neighborhood at night and throw fistfuls of corn at the home windows and run. Well, that's fun. Yeah, Andrew, it seems to always happen that way. Oh, Stanley, if it does become wine, it's not going to be a very good wine. Oh, yeah, couch. That's the problem with us, too. I mean, the dogs do not like it when people knock on the door. I don't know why. They just really don't like that. Tim didn't get any candy corn this year. Oh, sorry, Tim. And Phil's got a Black Butte Porter. Kevin's got a Diet Ginger Beer. Phil doesn't like clowns or dolls. Yes, dolls are second to clowns in my book, but also quite creepy. I don't know if I told my clown story or not, but so my sister, who's the middle child, was born when I was 5 years old. And so at the time, I was an only child. This was before my sister was born. My mother and father took me to the circus. This was the Ringling Brothers Circus. And I've got some pretty clear memories of it. I remember my dad saying, no, don't watch that, because there were multiple rings. And, you know, I remember that. I remember I got a toy from it that was one of these sparking toys that you'd squeeze a trigger. It was all made out of tin. You'd squeeze a trigger and sparks would fly out of it, which was kind of cool. And I remember very clearly that during an intermission, my dad had to use the men's room. So I was standing in the concourse area. This was in the old Spectrum building with my mother, and there's all these people milling around and stuff, and I'm little, you know, so I don't know what's going on. My dad's not there, you know. I'm worried because I don't know where he's going and stuff. And a clown comes over, and I guess he thought he was being nice and doing something, you know, to cheer the little boy up and stuff. And my mom's saying, "Oh, look at the clown!" And this big clown face is like leering down at me, and I can still see the thing. It's terrifying. And I just was screaming. And the more I screamed, the more the clown tried to get me to not scream. And I think that's where my problem with clowns started. No, Tim, I do not want a clown doll for Christmas. Clown registry? No, I'm not going to visit the clown registry. Clowns have to register their faces? Oh. You know, Palm, I just don't want to know stuff about clowns. I'm not going to watch a creepy clown movie, Mushroom Leg, thank you, but no. Microwave BLT, there you go, Ronnie. Yeah, actually, clowns look downright conservative in some areas, Doug. Well, Ron, this was over 50 years ago, and that clown was scary. Yornik, that would explain it, yeah. Oh, I remember that, Phil. Yeah, you'd pull it, and it would spin this way, and it would light up when it spun. I do remember that. Couch, cut it out. I do not want a clown doll. Oh, Sailor, that is funny. I don't know if mimes are worse than clowns, Michael. They're not as scary to me, but they're annoying. But I do think mimes and clowns and magicians are all somehow related. I don't know who mates with who to make who, but there's something going on there, kind of like the donkey and the mule and the horse kind of thing. Clown doll flake. Oh, Phil. I've lost some respect for you now, Phil. You were a clown. Mimes are French, Couch, yes. I think it would terrorize any child, Peter. I mean, it was a combination of the situation and then the surprise of the clown being there. Oh, come on, guys, no clowns. That's a good question, Phil. Which came first, indeed? Just curious if my wife sent me a note apologizing. No, she didn't. She's oblivious. That's okay. Krusty the Clown, I can live with Gary because he's a cartoon. I'm okay with cartoon clowns, I think. I think I'm okay with cartoon clowns. That's creepy, Tim. Oh, dwarf. Yeah, you don't want dwarf clowns, Phil. Definitely do not want the dwarf clowns. Jim PM, how you doing, Jim? Just got back, found his Peretti order waiting. Good. Thanksgiving Day. Nice. First time you're trying it. Well, I hope it's good, Jim. XJ, good morning to you, sir. Good to see you, buddy. Okay, I want to sleep tonight, so I'm just going to start ignoring all the clown comments. But that's funny, Tim. That is funny. I burned through this haunted bookshop way too fast. What's going on here? Oh, by the way, I've got my it's a tamper from my buddy Jeff, Tamper Tantrum in ebony. And every time I look at these, I'm just amazed that he hand carves those. Mushroom Leg, your wife is afraid of rabbits? That's interesting. Yes, Tim, I think it was all the clown talk that made me smoke it too fast. Scorpion Clown. Now there's something to think about, XJ. Ah, Texas Pipe Show. Sounds good, Eddie. Hope you can make it. You know, some of those Mexican wrestler masks are kind of creepy, Sailor. Have any of you seen the movie? I cannot remember the name of it, but it's a Mexican wrestler who fights Count Dracula. I cannot remember the name of it. I think the wrestler's name was like Santino or something like that. Not a very good movie, mind you. It's really poor quality black and white, but interesting. That's an interesting question, Tim. I did watch Bozo when I was a kid, and I don't remember being afraid of him. Yeah, Jimmy Carter had quite a run-in with a rabbit, Michael. All politicians should have to wear clown faces? Make it harder to tell them apart. No, this wasn't Nacho Libre, although that I've seen that. My dad was into that. He really, my dad was a big wrestling fan, and he'd watch anything that was wrestling. MST3K might have done it, Mushroom Leg. I don't know. I don't remember that, but I haven't seen them all, so that's certainly possible. But it is a real movie. By the way, I've reloaded Haunted Bookshop because it's too early to do the Tobacco of the Week. So we'll just have some more Haunted Bookshop. The things I do for you guys. I smoke a second bowl of Haunted Bookshop. XJ, only when it's time to send them to prison. You want them to go in the right order. Tim made friends with some Ohio Valley wrestlers. That's cool, Tim. I haven't seen that one, Yurnik. No, Doug, this was something like Santos versus Dracula or something like that. Oh, that's cool, XJ. New puppy's always fun. Paul, I don't think I ever tried Chatham Manor. But if I did, most of those matches to me have too much of a chemical taste, and it's just because I'm a weirdo when it comes to chemical tasting or tasting chemicals. So I know a lot of people like it, but I don't think I've had Chatham Manor. Yeah, I don't like Killer Clowns from Outer Space either, Tim. Andre was a big man, Michael. Yes. Well, Sailor, I can see how you feel about Mexican wrestlers then. Patrick Grant, how you doing, buddy? Homie the Clown? Was that an Eddie Murphy thing, Jim PM? Really, Tim? Tony Atlas? I remember him from comic book ads. Oh, Killer Shrews is an amazing movie, Doug. Very hilarious. Really, Ron, I did not know that about old Dirty Piper. He was a pro wrestler. That's interesting. Kevin's lighting up some John Cotton Smyrna. Okay, it wasn't Eddie Murphy's skit. Okay. I remember him doing the homie don't like that thing, but I didn't remember the clown. So, a couple things while there's a lull or I'm instilling a lull. Um, if you join late, I'm not going to be doing a show next week, so you'll have your Friday nights free. You'll have your Friday night free next week. I have to go to Washington, D.C., unfortunately, for a big, it's an annual conference, scientific conference, and I have to leave really early Saturday morning, and I'm probably going to have to be packing and stuff on Friday. So I'm just going to take the night off on Friday to make that bearable. But I'll be back the following Friday. So there will be that. A couple other things I wanted to mention. Oh, I'd like to ask for some prayers. You guys always come through with that, and I appreciate it because it makes a world of difference. This is not for me personally, but it's for a friend of mine whose wife is having some medical problems, some health problems. So if you wouldn't mind just keeping a friend's wife in prayer this coming week, it would be much appreciated by both myself and this other person. I'd really appreciate it if you do that. Prayers, good thoughts, whatever you like doing. But it means a lot to me if you would do that. And there was one other thing that I cannot remember. So maybe we'll come back to it. Oh, I know. This is important. So please don't run away when this happens. You probably remember this.
CaneRod much for two, for pipe love is the place for you if you like pipes and chatting, and especially if you being merry and is hotter than ginger. CaneRod much for two, for pipe love is the place for you if you like pipes and chatting, and especially if you being merry and is hotter than ginger.
Yeah. Well, if you thought that was good, and it's not, if you thought that was good, you're going to love what my buddy Mushroom Leg has done. He's done a live acoustic version of that song. So go over, and I normally wouldn't tell you to do this during the show, but you know what? Go to Mushroom Leg's channel and watch the short that he put up where he does a live acoustic version of that. It is fantastic. So thank you, Mushroom Leg, for that. I really enjoyed that. Made my week for sure. And thank you guys for all the folks that are sending up prayers. It's much appreciated. Yeah, Ron, I might have to do that. You know, hotter than ginger is not a bad tagline, is it? I don't want to turn into one of these people that sells coffee mugs and hooded sweatshirts on YouTube, but I might have to consider doing a limited run of hotter than ginger coffee mugs. Oh, it was Charles Atlas in the comics. Sorry, Tim. Pipe Ninja! How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Pipe Ninja also has a fantastic video that went up this week. I can't remember the title of it. It was something about World War II, talking about his uncle. Very well done. So if you get a chance to check out Pipe Ninja, do that as well. Damon Wayans was Homie the Clown? Okay, Tim. So Eddie Murphy was just Homie and the Clown was Damon Wayans. Todd Barstow would buy a hotter than ginger mug. So Jim PM is recommending New Holland's The Poet American Oatmeal Stout. Sounds good. I like an oatmeal stout. The Fly Girls were better than Homie the Clown. I don't know who the Fly Girls are, Michael. You're all too up on the pop culture. I can't keep up. Hey, I'm glad you're being honest about that. Because frankly, I don't think I would buy one myself. Excuse me for a minute. Isabel, be a good girl. Not much sadder than the tears of a clown, Pipe Time says. I don't know about that. Yes, the Eddie Murphy's Gumby was fantastic, Gary. Now, Tim's trying to explain to me the popular culture reference, assuming that I'll understand it. The dancers on Living Color were the Fly Girls. Okay. Late trick-or-treater, Gary? No, I think she's just barking because she's lonely. Jimmy513, how you doing, buddy? Was that Adelaide? Texas Piper says Adelaide, a brilliant singer dressed as Morticia Adams for Halloween. Well, good for, hopefully, her. There you go, Piper on the 45. It would confuse some folks. I think if we made the Hotter Than Ginger mug, we'd have to put a picture of Ginger on it. Otherwise, people would think you were referring to yourself, which would be weird. Given most of us are guys. Or I could make it absurd and put it like a piece of ginger root on it. That would make me laugh, but nobody else. Wait a minute. It's you, Dell? Sorry, Pipe Ninja. Mushroom legs buying. Okay. I get a culinary thing. There you go. I'll tell you what. I'll try to do a couple of designs for a Hotter Than Ginger mug. And if any of you guys want to take a crack at it and email them to me, maybe we'll have a vote, and if enough people agree to buy one, I'll get 10 or so made. That would be fun. There you go, Doug. That is the perfect choice. First thing XJ thought of was ginger root. Perfect. Now we've changed to Ugdal. Ugdal. That's interesting, poem. We could have it reveal ginger as you drink. Or maybe we could get one of those color changing ones. No, no, that's getting a little weird. Never mind. Jim Carrey got his start on In Living Color. Well, now I know who to blame. I don't know what's going on with all these Dell things. Okay, Yornik. I guess I pronounced the name wrong. You're getting a Dell, like a Dell computer? Is that how it's pronounced, a Dell? I don't care. You guys pronounce it the way you want. I'm gonna forget it by the time this is over, so. Unless Tim sends me a video. Tim likes to send me videos of musicians I've never heard of that he mentions on the show so that I can then not say I've never heard of them anymore. But unfortunately, Tim, I watch it once, I say, okay, that was music, and then I forget, so. That was a bad day, Gary, when Eve gave Adam an apple. Yes, Iron Maiden. You know, and Tim, I appreciate that because I saw on TV, was it last night or the night before? Or, no, it wasn't TV because I haven't been watching it. It was YouTube. There was an ad. Apparently, Iron Maiden is doing a reunion tour or a farewell tour or something like that. And I thought, huh. There's an interesting fact. Mrs. Howe was born on November 5th, 1900. So she would have just celebrated her 123rd birthday. My goodness. Or I guess she hasn't yet. She would be celebrating in 2 days, right? Yeah, Phil, that seems accurate. Yeah, Yornik, my favorite version of those sorts of names is, I'm gonna get this right, Orangelo and Lamangelo. Well, that's inflation, Phil. How do you tighten up a loose hinge on a Zippo? I don't know, Piper on the 45. I mean, the hinge should be, is it loose? Is it loose in this way, or is it that it's moving side to side? If it's this way, it should be pretty loose. So it's probably the little cam here that's broken. And if it's side to side, it's probably that the weld has come loose. In either case, I would send it back to Zippo, because they'll fix it for free. There's information on their webpage about how to ship it back. I've done it. They do remarkable work. But yeah, I've never dealt with that myself. Yeah, it's probably a good way to operate there, Doug. Yeah, if it's side to side, I would definitely send it into them, Piper. Cheaper by the hour, cheaper by the half hour. Yeah. Those trench lighters are cool, Andrew. I've got one of them in my big pile of lighters to restore for videos someday. At the top of that pile is, oh, I'm blanking on the darn name of the darn thing. Michael, you know what I'm thinking of. Scripto lighter that my buddy Michael Case sent me that I've been promising for probably years now to do a video on. You could just buy a new Zippo Poem, but some people have sentimental attachments to their lighters. I mean, if I ever lost this, I'd be really upset. I've had this for 30 years. And if it broke, I'd send it back and get it fixed. And speaking of lighters, I've been using that butane lighter that Greg Tunnel gave to me at the Ohio show. Couldn't think of what state I was in, for goodness sakes. And yeah, I don't like butane lighters because they always wind up breaking on me. But so far, this one's behaved really well. And I keep it upstairs. And I use it like, I just filled this, and I'll use this until it needs to be filled again. And then that's just convenient because it's always sitting there. And I'll eventually refill this. But it's just nice to have a butane lighter there that when this stops working, I can just pick it up. And yeah, I'm kind of impressed with it. It's a soft flame. And I wouldn't want it to be my only lighter, but it's nice to have as a standby. I was thinking about that the other day, how I never thought I'd be happy with a butane lighter, but that one's kind of, it's serving its purpose. And of course, I've got these things scattered all over the place now. Not with the artwork on them, but these are great because they're refillable and they're basically bulletproof. Why are we going to hell? I missed something. Oh, is it the theme song that's sending us to hell? Yeah, Gary, I guess it was basically a Boilermaker. I shouldn't have done that, but I don't think that's the problem. I know people like the butane inserts, Michael. I don't know. There's something about the Zippo that I just like it the way it is. Hey, I finished my second bowl of Haunted Bookshop. You know what that means, kids. Kids. We'll wait a few minutes, but it's going to be time for the tobacco of the week. The main reason I know you guys show up. Oh yeah, I know, Phil. I know. I'm really vacillating on whether or not I should go for the YouTube Premium thing because I watch so much of it and the ads are making it really unpleasant. But I know that's exactly what they're trying to do. And I hate that I'm being engineered into doing that. No, it's not time for the clowns, Tim. That's true, XJ. I mean, you can't always get butane, but you can always get something that burns, and you can put anything that burns in a Zippo. You know, gasoline, kerosene, alcohol, they all work. Gary, you broke a clipper? How'd you do that? So Lord Hogarth likes the YouTube Premium? Lord Hogarth, do you get music with that too? Or is it just the video? Yeah, that would be a nice thing, Eddie, is if you can turn the screen off. Because then you can play music and just have the phone in your pocket. Which I do sometimes when I'm like cleaning up the yard or something. I put the headphones in and listen to podcasts or music or something. You're into puzzles, play Submachine Legacy. It's on Steam and it's awesome. So, Yornik, do you gamers that use Steam and stuff? I mean, Steam is a computer thing, if I understand it correctly. Do you use the keyboard to play? Or do you like hook a controller up? I've often wondered that. Oh, you do get the music too, Lord Hogarth. Okay, well, it's attractive. The Timber Drifters paying as well. Yeah. You guys are talking me into it. Yeah, not everything burns as clean as the Zippo fuel. for sure. Okay, Andrew says music too. Okay, Gary, so the spark wheel thing came apart on you. That's unfortunate. But they're cheap enough. Okay, so you can use keyboard or controller, says Andrew. And Yornik says mouse only. Okay. You know, I've tried playing video games with the keyboard or mouse, and I just can't do it. I'm just not coordinated enough. I used to have an Xbox, back the original Xbox with the little clicky thing, and I could play that okay. I've never been really into video games, but yeah, they offer a couple months free all the time, Michael. That's a good point. Big Country Briar, how you doing, buddy? Home from the XC banquet. Go Knights. All right, fantastic. Okay, so you don't need quick reflexes to play that game. You need a brain? Oh, Yornik, I don't know. I'll see what I can do. So let's pick the tobacco of the week. You know the deal. Box of tobacco. Honestly, have not looked at this, so I'm gonna try to mix them up a bit. Yeah, let's see. I better put my glasses on so I can see what I pull out here. All right, number one. Didn't mix it up well enough, I guess. The 7LA Brunel Flake, which has come up several times. I think that's the one that Phil wants me to try. 2015. Don't vote until I get all three out. Huh. I vaguely remember something about this. It's called Quantum from 2015. I think that's a Virginia blend. I think. Very dark, though. And number three, St. James Flake from Gowith, 2015. I think that's a repeat as well. So, the choices are 7LA Brunel, number one, Quantum, number two, and St. James Flake, number three. All right. Gary, was C a vote for three? Oh, three. Okay. So Gary's voting for three, which was St. James Flake. I got 2 votes for St. James Flake. 1 vote for Quantum. 3 vote for St. James. One for the Brunel Flake. 2 for Quantum. That's another 1 for Quantum. So Quantum and St. James are tied at 3 with 1 for Brunel. There's another 1 for St. James. St. James got 4. I think Peter's voting for Quantum, so that's tied up again with St. James. 4-4. 2 for St. James. 3 for St. James. That's 4, 5, 6, 7 St. James. I think St. James is running away with it. There's a 5th vote for Quantum, though. We'll give it one or two more. Another one for St. James. That's 8. 9. I think St. James has it. Brunel is bad, so that's his. Thank you, Lord Hogarth. All right, we're going to go with the St. James. I think we got a quorum, if not a quantum. So Quantum and Brunel go back in the box. One, two, three, four, five. Got 7 jars left in there, so there's got to be a couple we haven't had yet. So this is St. James Flake, which I believe is a Virginia Perique. Somebody wrote, yeah, nice Virginia Perique. And this was given to me in 2015. I have no idea how old it is. We'll see if it has any bloom on it. No. Oh. It's a nice, nice figgy Perique flake. Not too dry either. Very nice. Look at that. That's pretty cool, huh? All right, let's see what we can do here. So the pipe is going to be 7LE622. And I'm going to have to do some rubbing out here. This might take me a little while. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get my Hillbilly Piper, thank you, Donnie, tobacco dish here. And I'll take one of these flakes and break it in half. I just think this will be easier than trying to stuff it in there. Well, actually, it's balling up pretty nicely. But at least I caught the little bits and pieces, so I'm just going to drop this ball in there. It's a big bowl. And shred out these little bits a bit more for kindling. This might be a little hard to keep lit, I'm guessing. But we'll see. No one knows anything about quantum, so pick it. Yeah. Quantum of Solace, Yornik. Okay. Should be through with them by Christmas. Let's hope. It does look very rich, Peter. Let's find out. Oh, so Doug says St. James was one of the first vapors before they became popular. That's interesting. And of course, not too dry, as you have to dry out all Galloway tobacco for about 72 hours before it's smokable. Well, this has been in that jar for 8 years. And I have no idea how old it was before that, so. Ooh. That's very perique, very thicky. All right, Sailor, you have a good night, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Great weekend, buddy. That was good while it lasted, but that was just the initial light. Let's move this around a little bit. Ah, off to the ranch for deer season. Well, good luck, Sailor. Timber Drifter, never discuss plume at a cigar store. Those guys do not want to believe that it's mold. Quantum is a McClellan blend from PCAS, says Andrew. Yeah, PCAS. PCAA. The Smooth Piper's finished his haunted bookshop. He's loaded up Morley's Best. You like that Morley's Best, don't you, Peter? Hey, Cole, you have a great weekend too, buddy. Enjoy those kids. Anything like Elizabethan, asked Michael Case. Michael, I think this is much more Perique. This is good. This is the kind of a Virginia Perique that I really like. Very spicy, yeah. A lot of pepper in that gumbo. And hugs back to Kate, Yornick. Doug says McClellan did Quantum for the Virginia Pipe Show in '96. Okay. Jim PM has given us his first impression of Thanksgiving Day here. So it's got that Peretti flavor to it. Yep. Totally not aggressive, semi-aromatic, yeah. Juiced up Edgeworth. Interesting. That's kind of the way I'm remembering Thanksgiving Day. But the thing about it, Jim and everybody else, is that it was hit and miss in my opinion. Because sometimes it would have a lot of almost like a baking spice flavor to it. It would be like cinnamons and allspice and things like that. And that was really nice. And then other times it would just be kind of like any other Peretti blend. It would have that Peretti flavor to it. And I got it 3 or 4 years in a row, and finally I just sort of lost my my desire to buy anymore. It wasn't bad, it just was a little bit inconsistent from year to year in my opinion. Yeah, Doug, this definitely has a fair amount of Perique in it. It's good. I haven't heard of any Kwanzaa themed blends, Yornick, but I know Tim Fournier is looking for new adventures in pipe blending. Maybe Tim can put together a Kwanzaa blend. Voodooed! You got some old Thanksgiving Day, huh? Some aged Thanksgiving Day, I should say. I thought I had a jar of it too, but I haven't been able to find it. Are you getting those notes now, Jim? Okay. Like I said, it never disappointed me. you know, I'd look forward to something and it would be something else, but still something else good. Ah, Tim, that's the way to get the holiday season started. That that episode of WKRP will never not be funny. From 2019, Peter. Oh, it's good to know it ages well. Yeah. Boy, if I can't ever find my jar, I'll be a happy man then. Texas Piper went to Ewan Reese. That's cool. Yeah, that's my problem too, Voodoo. It's somewhere in that big pile of jars of tobacco. Same is true for children. Ah, Yornik, I love you, buddy. Canadian Thanksgiving Day tobacco. I don't know if that's a blend, Michael. Wild turkey over ice will give you wings. There you go, Gary. There you go, Ron. Cliff is our go-to source on that, huh? Yeah, it happens with a lot of blends, Timber Drifter. It kind of loses everything just kind of melds together with age. But there's some good and bad to that, I guess. Depending on the blend, of course. Like I prefer aged Latakia blends because the Latakia is mellowed out on them. Still not my favorite thing to smoke, but they're better than smoking it fresh. This is nice. I assume this is still made, but is hard to find. The St. James flake, that is. There you go. Autumn Evening would make a fine Canadian Thanksgiving blend, Doug. Except I know at least one Canadian that can't stand it. The Urban Hermit. If you remember Everett Young's Captain Black Grape video, which I think he took it down, but it was hilarious. I think a close second would be his Autumn Evening video because he never made one, but if he were to make one, he really doesn't like Autumn Evening. I don't know if I'm going to go through my Latakia phase this year, Eddie. I haven't gotten the urge yet. XJ, that sounds terrifying. Okay, so Doug has one rusticated pub pipe left in stock if anybody's interested. Well, Doug, what were you doing bringing a turkey to class? A lot of keyism indeed, Yernick. Yeah, Andrew, I don't know. I find autumn evening to be one of the few aromatics I can tolerate. I'm not saying it's my favorite tobacco or anything, but I've never found a vanilla aromatic that I could smoke. But, everybody's different, which is a good thing. I don't think it's too chilly, Tim. Everett knows his way around the cold. Little squad class turkey was well cooked, huh? It's completely unrelated to anything, but I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of something called the Journal of Irreproducible Results. Uh, it was put out by some guys, I think at MIT, and it basically was making fun of. Well, originally it was just a parody. It would publish like these ridiculous parodies of scientific articles. It eventually became something where they started giving prizes out for the most unusual research, like just research things that you wouldn't think anybody would ever do, but did. But back when I was an undergraduate, it was still in its early days. You could subscribe to it for like $5 a year, and they'd send you paper copies that were just photocopied and stuff. And it was hilarious because it was written by some guys that had a really good sense of humor, and they understood the science that they were writing about. And there's this one article that I always think of when turkeys come up. And I'll try not to bore you with this, but the basis of the article was that if you drop anything, right, you hold it above the ground, it has potential energy. And as it falls, that potential energy is converted to kinetic energy. But when it hits the ground, you have to immediately convert that kinetic energy back to potential energy, and you lose a lot of it in heat. So the argument was that if you were to drop a turkey repeatedly from a high height, you could cook it that way, because each time it hit the ground, it would heat up a little bit, and you could cook it. So they took a frozen turkey. They didn't really do this apparently, but this is the joke. So they took a frozen turkey and they measured the temperature of it, which was of course 0 degrees Celsius frozen. And then they took it up to and they very carefully give you all the information so you know how high up the building was, because they took it to the roof of a building and dropped it. And they reported on the weather that day and the temperature and all that. And the temperature was, I don't know, let's just say it was 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm sorry, I'm mixing Celsius and Fahrenheit because I can't remember the freezing temperature for Fahrenheit right now. I think it's minus 32. So they then would take the turkey, and it's minus 32 degrees. They drop it off the thing, and then they measure the temperature. They take it back up to the roof, and they keep doing this. And they plot the results, and they get this straight line plot that goes from zero and continues up. Temperature's increasing with every drop. And they stopped the experiment when it got to 50 degrees and said, so if you were to continue this for another, and they extend that line out, and so you would have cooked the turkey to an internal temperature of 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and it would be safe to eat. And the joke, of course, is that it only went from frozen to the temperature of the air because it had thawed. But this is it's geek science humor, but there are publications that are not that far off from that somehow get past the reviewers. So yeah, sorry, that's my geeky scientific turkey story. Beowulf and Miss Kathy, how you guys doing? Dolls and old settlers, if you have a name, plans. Okay, guys, I've asked her a couple of times, and she's just been busy with family stuff, but I will get that name and let you know. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Doug, that journal might be well represented at the conference next week. Yeah, Doug, that's the kind of tax-funded research we need. Good night, Poem. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Have a great weekend. Oh, we're running over, aren't we? I gotta drink faster. Doug, I don't quite believe that poor people were not as happy as rich people. I just don't think they asked the right rich people. And as far as young people being happier than old people, I know a lot of bitter, miserable young people. Ah, richer people. Gotcha, Doug. Yeah, that's important. Well, XJ, you're just a bitter, miserable young person in an old person's body. I'm sorry, Gary. I don't know what the problem is with the audio. Maybe YouTube doesn't want me to go over. Shift theory versus ovulatory shift theory? Mate shift theory? I'm not familiar with that, Tim. But that's probably a good thing. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. So I'll drink faster. This is true, Lord Hogarth. There is no place like home, and money doesn't buy happiness. But remember, home is where you hang your hat. So, home could be like a branch on a tree. it is a transition emotional state, Tim, and it's a temporary state. Nobody's happy all the time. Thank you for watching, Voodoo. I appreciate it. And guys, I'm going to sign off with this. Thanks for picking the St. James Flake. It's really good stuff. I'll talk more about that on Sunday. Again, I will not be here next week, but the following Friday I'll be joining you again. Think kindly of me as I'm wading through the swamp of DC. And I appreciate you all joining me and making this a great evening. So take care, my friends. And I'll see you all again real soon.